Are you new to investing in silver, struggling to understand what the heck the differences are between the thousands of silver products online? Are you familiar with the basics but don't know which silver products on the web are the very best for your needs? Do you already stack silver like a 1920s gangster but want to learn more about the best practices of silver investment?
Congratulations! You've found the right video.
In this presentation, I want to help people get started with the ins and outs of buying silver through
The mysterious Mario-style teleportation of information through the tubes known as
the interwebs. No, but in all seriousness, we're going to be exploring the 4 key factors you should consider when choosing what to spend your silver savings on based upon your needs. We'll be covering the top 3 major categories of silver products available to most consumers and judging them by those 4 criteria.
What are those 3 major categories you speak of, you eloquent scallywag?
Well, I'm glad you asked, you Scotch-guzzling Scotsman. Number 1. 90% U.S. silver coins.
Authorized under the U.S. Constitution, including every dollar coin, half-dollar, quarter, and dime minted prior to 1965.
Second off, we have pure silver bullion in the form of 1-ounce bars and rounds. Last but not least, we are going to be considering heavier, pure silver bars and ingots weighing 5, 10, 100 ounces, or even a full kilogram. There are other products out there on the web that coincidentally are made of silver, but we're not going to be considering jewelry and so on. The first thing we'll consider, and it's likely the first thing on your mind as a consumer, are premiums, or how high the costs are associated with each kind of silver product. Next, we'll consider the liquidity of each kind of silver. How easily is it converted into cash? Then we'll discuss how storable these silver products actually are, how easy they are to conceal, and how large your underground vault room should be. Finally, the last but perhaps most overlooked factor that people forget to consider is recognition, the degree to which people recognize the authority of the mint which produced your silver and will be willing to accept it as payment for goods and services.
All that having been explained, and without further ado, let's get into evaluating how each of these primary categories of silver investment products stack up based upon our proposed criteria.
First under the spotlight are 90% silver coins. Now, it's important to understand first and foremost that not all 90% silver US coins were created equal. Coin collectors are willing to pay extremely high premiums for a rare coin and very small premiums for a nearly identical coin that's from a different year. When you're searching for the lowest prices online, you should search for the term, quote, junk silver. That's key. This term signifies that you're not looking for collectible coins with higher premiums, but more common ones that are cheaper, so you can get the best deals. In general, the premiums associated with junk silver coins are very low, ranging from $2 to $5 over spot silver prices, which is not too shabby. These coins are by far the easiest to liquidate in any area of the United States, and to private collectors, you can even charge a small premium when reselling. There's always a highly competitive market for these coins, and you can be assured that should you ever need to sell them, that finding a buyer won't be tough. The number one trouble with this investment avenue is that they can be a mess to store. If you want to organize your purchase based on denomination, design type, or condition, it can take up substantial time and space to do so. However, if you don't care to do that, and you shove all your coins in a bag and lock them away, the problem is solved. 90% US silver coins have the highest recognition of any silver product available on the market. Washington quarters and Roosevelt dimes in particular are easily identified by even those who are clueless as to the value of silver as real money, and it's not tough to convince others to accept them as payment, especially if they're liberty-minded.
Next up, we've got 0.9995 1-ounce bullion in the form of bars and rounds.
Now, a round is just like a coin, round and thick. Bars are self-explanatory. It's going to come down to your personal preference as to which you ought to buy. Both have about the same amount of silver and generally no collector value, so I lump them into the same category. Now, one thing you ought to know is that there are literally hundreds of private mints which produce these bullion bars and rounds, with thousands of unique designs. A cool design does not make the bullion inherently more valuable. If you're looking to save money, don't be afraid to buy bullion that's a little cheaper just because it's ugly, so long as it comes from a reputable source. There are government-minted pure silver rounds as well, such as the American Silver Eagle or the Canadian Maple Leaf. These are actually still coins and legal tender in their countries of origin. As far as premiums go, privately minted silver rounds and bars can be found for extremely low prices, generally 50 cents to $3 over spot price. Government-minted pure silver coins are more expensive generally. The US Silver Eagle, for instance, is .999 fine silver and sells for $2 to $5 over spot. Outside the US, 1 ounce silver bullion is the easiest to liquidate. However, unlike with 90% silver coins, collectors inside the US won't pay you premiums when you're selling off silver. For storability, this category performs extremely well. You may want to purchase protective casings or tubes to store your bullion to keep it in pristine condition, but it's otherwise pretty easy to stash and store them away. Whether or not others will recognize the authority and validity of your bullion as money for barter depends largely on the mint of your purchase. If you choose to go with government mints, both yourself and others can be assured that your silver is genuine and of the correct purity. And if you go with a private mint, you'll save money up front when purchasing them, but others may be hesitant to trust you and trade with you because it's riskier.
What if your bars are counterfeit?
They'll ask. There are quite a few ways to prove the authenticity of a silver bar or coin, and that's something I'll demonstrate in a later video, so the choice is really up to you.
Lastly, let's evaluate these behemoth silver bars.
So I don't personally own any bullion larger than 1 ounce of silver, but I know others who do, and man are they an impressive sight. Far fewer private mints actually produce these, and no government mints sell them to my knowledge. In general, 1 kilogram or 100 ounce bars have the lowest premiums of any silver products on the market, hands down. I've seen them sell for as little as 25 cents over spot prices, shipped for free. 5 ounce and 10 ounce silver products generally have low premiums as well. Now, it can be somewhat more difficult to liquidate these bars because your buyer must have a substantial sum of money which he's willing to spend. Any online or local coin dealer will still buy the bars from you, but very few private collectors and investors will want them or have the money to spend on them. The larger the silver bar, the easier it is to store. Imagine trying to organize 100 little bars in your safe versus 10, or just 1. You get the picture, and as for recognition, I highly doubt that many people would accept your 100-ounce silver bar as payment for anything. It's a huge risk on their end, because if your 1 bar is counterfeit, they're at a huge loss. And there are very few publicly recognized mints and no government authority to back their purity. If you're looking to barter with anyone other than a silver aficionado, don't use these behemoth bars. Instead, use them to preserve and protect your wealth in the long term.
We're finished! Well, not quite.
Let's recap on screen exactly how they all stack up so you can compare. As you can see, 90% junk silver scores the best in general due to its modest premiums, easy recognition, and ease of selling off to others. Not only that, but you get to charge a premium when you sell. 1 ounce silver bullion is a great choice, and I'd recommend having some whether from a government mint or private mint. They're fairly recognizable, easily stored, and easy to liquidate into cash. Larger silver bullion is good for long-term wealth preservation and storage, but not for barter and trades. It'll potentially be a bit tricky to sell off later on, but this option is certainly recommendable if you're looking to transfer your wealth into physical assets.
Now we're finished.
Dude, that video was super long.
I know, and I was kidding about being finished.
I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you find this content valuable and entertaining. Please check out my article over at TTcoins.com where I go into greater detail and pose the top 3 questions you should ask yourself before you buy silver to save yourself time and money while investing.
Cut, that's a wrap. Cut it off. Shut off the video. It's done. It's too long. It's done. No more video. It's cut. It's done.